the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the news at noon. I'm Mark Hall. Another chilly start. We're expecting a warm-up, hopefully today. Meteorologist Damon Matson joins us now with the latest check on the forecast. Damon, what does that warm-up look like?
Well, it looks like at least getting back into the 50s. That's at least the hope anyway. And Mark, yeah, chilly was an understatement for some of us this morning. Those temperatures, they fell well below freezing across a good portion of the area. And yeah, we just felt that change in the air, that biting cold back once again. Now, DC lucked out. We did just stay above freezing inside the Beltway. We held on to this little bubble of added warmth. I know 34 still not all that warm at the end of the day, but hey, it's at least somewhat better than the 26 degrees seen in Waldorf, 27, Frederick, Hagerstown, Leesburg, and look out toward Martinsburg, the mountains of western Maryland, low 20s. Certainly frosty and even a hard freeze for some off to the west of DC and I-95. But there you go. Yes, we haven't quite made it to the 50s at least yet, but we've warmed up a solid 15 to 20 degrees at least from earlier this morning. Temps are back into the 40s. And a large reason for that, it is sunny as can be, and it's going to stay that way as we head throughout the rest of the afternoon. So before the day is done, we are expecting temperatures to rebound into the middle and upper 50s by 3 to 4 o'clock. Now, we do keep these clear skies straight into the evening, but later on, we start to notice some clouds will be trickling back in, and that is the leading edge of the next storm system. So will we keep temperatures on the rise into Thursday and Friday, and when is that next storm system going to bring some soggy weather? We'll have a full look at your forecast coming up here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. 4 teenagers are being charged in a triple deadly shooting in Fredericksburg, Virginia. 2 people were injured, 3 died at the scene. DC News Now's Jean-Marie Cisse spoke to neighbors who say they're scared.
Yeah, 3 of those suspects in custody, 1 still recovering in the hospital. You can see this car was completely shot up, and then also bullets went through the window of several homes in this neighborhood. And neighbors say this is the most violence they've witnessed in the area they call home.
We've never seen something like this happen in this neighborhood. This is unreal.
Travis Howard has lived here for nearly 2 years, and he never expected anything like this to happen so close to home.
We got kids that run up and down the road right here. Kids play every day. My kids play every day. This is something that's a little out of hand here.
Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office says around 5:30 on Tuesday evening, they received calls for multiple gunshots. One witness says they heard it all happen.
When I heard it, at first I thought it was like a fireworks or like a car, but then that's when I looked at the window, I saw them running. I was like, oh shoot, they're shooting. I was nervous and scared because I didn't know what was happening.
A neighbor sharing this photo. The suspects placed the guns used in the shooting right on her fence. 3 people died. 2 18-year-olds, Chase Feaster and Alonzo Goffney, both from Spotsylvania County, and a 20-year-old police have not identified yet. Investigators say 4 people have been charged with malicious wounding and use of a firearm. The suspects, 4 teens, including an 18-year-old Jeremiah Upson. As the sheriff's office continues to investigate, many neighbors are left with the damage of their homes and cars.
It's an eye-opener, you know, to see something happen this close to home.
Now, 3 of those suspects are being held without bond. The 4th suspect, a 16-year-old, will be released to police after recovering from the hospital. For now, reporting in Fredericksburg, Virginia, I'm Jean-Marie Cisse, DC News Now.
Jean-Marie, thank you. We're staying in Virginia. 2 parents in Spotsylvania County are facing charges after a gun accidentally went off in their child's backpack at school. Investigators say that the gun went off in a 3rd grade classroom at Lee Hill Elementary School Monday. The teacher evacuated the class. No one was hurt. Parents Sierra Armstead and Terrence Carroll Jr. face a misdemeanor and felony charge for leaving a loaded gun where a child could access it. Investigators say the gun fired by mistake and that the student will not face charges. The parents have been released on a $5,000 bond. They're scheduled for an arraignment hearing on Friday. And the district mayor Bowser is urging the National Park Service to help out as the Trump administration launches a task force to beautify the district. The mayor calling for an increase in trash pickup and to fix fountains like the one on Meridian Hill Park. It's been dry since the restoration project back in 2019.
Would I like to see it full of water again? I do have a beautiful painting in my apartment of what it was supposed to look like.
Yeah.
I would love to see it return to that.
National Park Service says several critical components of the fountain need replacement, and extensive concrete work is needed to fix damaged areas. The earliest there's funding for the project, fiscal year 2027. Staying in the district, council is taking steps to clamp down on ticket scalpers, setting a limit on how much tickets can be resold for. Candace Cole breaks down how the bill would work and hears from frustrated concert goers.
Ward 6 Council member Charles Allen has announced a new bill targeting ticket scalpers and those secondary ticketing platforms that buy tickets in bulk and then resell them to consumers at a premium.
There definitely needs to be a law. It's a big problem.
Last year, the district sued StubHub for inflated ticket prices and deceptive fees, something that's called drip pricing.
You see, every time you want to go to a concert, you can find these tickets for like 3 or 4 times the price.
The Restricting Egregious Scalping Against Live Entertainment or Resale Amendment Act will set a price cap on how much companies like StubHub or SeatGeek can resell tickets for. It bans the sale of speculative tickets or tickets before they hit the market and requires any person or company that sells more than 50 tickets a year to register with the district. DC concert goers say the legislation would be a welcome change.
There needs to be some sort of broader, just general kind of effort to put a stop to that kind of stuff because it hurts the fans.
The Resale Amendment Act has gained broad support throughout the council and from local venues like the 930 Club and the Lincoln Theater. If it passes, violators could face fines up to $10,000 per ticket sold. Reporting in Southwest, Candace Cole, DC News Now.
Candace, thank you. Well, there's a growing problem with abandoned boats in Maryland, but changes could be coming to address the issue in Prince George's County. A bill aiming to ban roadside parking is headed to the county executive's desk, and it would fine owners for every 24 hours if their boat violates the restrictions. Well, those boats would be towed and impounded if they're sitting out on the street for more than 48 hours past the first violation.
You know, a lot of our neighborhoods have been experiencing boats that are parked on the streets, public streets, causing safety issues. There's blind spots and cars are, getting into accidents.
It's a great thing because at least now we have something to stand for. We have something on paper to stand for.
Well, officials estimate getting rid of an abandoned 25-foot boat could cost around $2,500. Well, continuing coverage of the ongoing tariffs battle, China announcing that it would raise tariffs on American goods to 84%. This as President Trump hopes that his new tariffs influence companies to build more manufacturing plants in the U.S. The White House says over 50 countries are working to make deals with the U.S. Yesterday, the president's trade representative testified in front of a Senate committee about these tariffs and the criticism coming in from both sides of the aisle.
Who pays these high tariffs? In the short, medium term, it will be the consumer.
Do you agree with President Trump when he said families are going to have to feel a little pain?
Of course, I agree with the president.
Hope you and the president are very sensitive about companies potentially going bankrupt by these actions.
Well, today, the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is expected to be on Capitol Hill to brief House Republicans on these tariffs. Well, in keeping it here, our correspondent on the Hill is breaking down everything that you should know about the recent tariffs. That's coming up in the next 15 minutes. Meantime, the stock market continues to drop. Yesterday, the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 had early gains, but ended the day down. Since Inauguration Day, the Dow has dropped nearly 15%, and the S&P dropped close to 20%. CNN saying that this is the stock market's worst start to a presidential term in recent global history. Markets are also down in Asia and in Europe. Well, tariffs may be taking a toll on your mental health, from rising grocery prices to job security to inflation. Well, there are many financial unknowns right now. Life and mental health coach Cheryl Bridges joins morning anchor Corey James for more on how to stay calm.
I'm seeing that tariff stress is real. It is absolutely valid. Hearing that from several of my clients, whether it be because of uncertainty of job stability now, and then you add in some of the tariffs that are creating increases in prices of goods. So Tariff stress is where financial anxiety creeps in because of the uncertainty, because of the costs going up, because of the instability of my job. And it creates stress, real stress.
And when that stress kind of enters in, what do you encourage people to do?
The first thing I encourage people to do, Corey, is to acknowledge your emotions. They're real. Give yourself permission to feel the anxiety. You can even say that to yourself sometimes. I give myself permission to feel anxious. It's okay not to be okay. Feel it, but don't become it if you can help it. And then next, we've talked about this before, you've got to limit your exposure to constant updates, especially economic updates. We want to stay informed, but we don't want to become overwhelmed. So manage that. And then finally, I would say importantly is protecting your mindful budgeting. Practice mindful budgeting. This is a time to reassess your expenses, your spending, your saving, because if we can feel in control of even one area of our life, even if it's finances, it helps to minimize the anxiety.
And to do that, what's the Cheryl's Pearls for people who are watching?
The Cheryl's Pearls, I'm using the word calm. And I say calm because one thing I share often is try not to let people or situations pull you into their chaos. You pull them into your calm.
Our thanks to Corey and to Cheryl Bridges. And if you have a financial advisor, now could be a really good time to speak with them to weigh your options so that you're taking control of your money. And as always, if the stress is overwhelming and hard to manage, reach out to a healthcare professional for support.